The Sat Yogi's function is the unification of hell and heaven. And through the superior coherence of heavenly consciousness, hell is transformed. It is through this deep process that occurs in the heart of the yogi who is willing to travel alone through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil. That the transition from Kali Yuga to Sat Yuga is accomplished. It is a journey of the heart's openness and humility and truthfulness and willingness to transform. During this process, which at times will appear as an ordeal, through the love of the Supreme Presence, many gifts are bestowed upon the stalwart spiritual warrior. Who is loyal to the will of Shiva and who never hesitates to remain on the journey. And the most important gift that will be bestowed to one who walks in union with Shiva is the wish-fulfilling jewel. Have you all received the wish-fulfilling jewel? It is time to receive that jewel, because the time of language is nearly over. The time for speaking words is finished because words have lost their power. And only the power of the jewel of supreme, miraculous capacity for creation will have effect within the phenomenal plane. Once the jewel is received in the heart, it will also abide in the third eye. And eventually the whole body becomes the jewel. And then the whole universe is revealed as the jewel. And yet the jewel is always beyond and within. Emanating its luminous power to heal, to awaken, to transform, to bring about fulfillment, purification, awe and delight. But this jewel can only be retained when the self has become formless, when form itself has become formlessness, when all is realized as Shiva, as the infinite ocean of Shiva's blissful nature, of ultimate beauty. And when there is no separate I to witness that, but the I has been absorbed into and has become the ocean. The infinite, unified field of information, power, light, love. Can you feel that we are in that ocean right now? We are in the mind of God. We have no reality other than that. All sense of difference from the Supreme Presence, the Supreme Power, is illusion. And simply through the relinquishing of the illusion, the illusion of an ego, the illusion of a separate center from the one center that guides all beings. Through the elimination of that delusion, we become in alignment with the one intelligence. We become guided by the will and the strength and the intelligence of God to navigate accurately, spontaneously, silently, gracefully through the holographic field. With the power of transforming the field through the coherence of the Supreme Presence. We must never fall into the illusion of being human beings, mortal, bodily beings. We are the incorporeal divine intelligence that has descended into the human form. With the power of awakening. The power of uplifting. The power of bringing about transcendence of all of the ego's resistance to growth and to blossoming as the divine lotus. But now it is time to abide on the lotus throne, It is time to shine with the diamond mind that we have been given, which contains the wish-fulfilling jewel that is beyond the mind. But to make use of this jewel, we must be in complete mental stillness, emotional stillness, completely surrendering our attention to the One Self. Have we surrendered all desire to think in order to receive the thoughts of God, the power of God, the jewel of God? It is to receive these gifts that we have come. And without these gifts, we cannot do our work, God's work, which can only be begun after the death of the ego. The relinquishing of all belief in the egoic story. And the egoic affects that still try to claim our being. It is only through the victory over those emotions that wish to hold you down in a limited form, in the prison of egoic thought. Until you have broken free from that prison, you cannot know the blissful power of God. Our community exists to maintain the energy field that enables all to feel the Supreme Presence and to absorb the healing light and love from that presence, so that the traumas that have been somatized in the body and the subconscious mind can all be dissolved for everyone. Have you freed yourself from those traumas? Have you freed yourself from the ego's anxiety? Have you freed yourself from fear? From the dead end of desire that brings more fear? Have you freed yourself from illusion? It requires the wish-fulfilling jewel. That is given to all of those who love Shiva more than life, more than pleasure, more than worldly success, more than any worldly comforts. more than anything, and who are willing to become nothing, to know the total emptiness of egolessness in order to receive the fullness of union with Shiva. May we have the courage to dispossess ourselves of the illusory possessions of the ego that possesses the consciousness, and to achieve the possession of the most precious and valuable of all possible attainments, that is offered only at the end of Kali Yuga, only now. And only for a short time for those who have the wisdom and the courage to take, to receive, to become the embodiments of the wish-fulfilling jewel. May your consciousness become subtle enough to apprehend the presence of Shiva and the offering of the greatest gift that can be given for the transformation of the world. To all whose hearts are pure, all that which is desired shall be given. But to be pure means to have no desire. To be surrendered to the will of God, with the faith and the knowledge that God's benevolence will grant you whatever it is you need and whatever it is that enables the fulfillment of God's plan. May all the information that you receive be taken in without distortion, without resistance, with deep understanding, so that it can be metabolized into power. It is that spiritual power with which you will overcome all obstacles. This is the time of the blissful self who effortlessly gains victory over Maya. May you be the embodiment of this great archetype that is now being put into action.